here in front of me, I have 3 pairs of the Realistic brand from Radio Shack Minimus 7 speakers, which are a bit of a cult classic small speaker. They were manufactured from the mid 80s through the mid 90s, mid to late 90s, with a couple different brand names, but they were all from Radio Shack. And they've kind of maintained a cult classic following, I think, for a couple reasons. The first one being that because they had such a long production run, you can usually find them for around $10 a pair at most thrift stores. They look pretty nice. They came in a walnut case, which I don't have, and then this aluminum version, and they had a silver, white, and a black version. The second reason they have maintained a lot of popularity is because Pete and Zilch, which are a couple of users on a forum called Audio Karma, made a crossover upgrade for them that costs about $40 for a set, and it takes them from sounding pretty shouty and pretty harsh and hard to listen to actually sounding pretty flat and pretty well balanced if you use a subwoofer. If you don't have a sub with them, they just don't really have any bass at all. I've already done this upgrade on these 2 white pairs, and this black pair I have actually had since high school, so about 10 years. I recently found them again. I've been wanting to make a cleaner version of the crossover that I made for the other 2 pairs because I've learned a lot. If you do have any interest in purchasing crossovers, I do have that information in the pinned comment. In all 3 of these speakers, I'm doing the crossover upgrade using the inductor that is already inside of them, but you can purchase a separate inductor if you don't wish to reuse the one that's inside.
The main thing I want to improve are these binding posts. They don't stick out far enough to easily connect your speaker wires. It's really annoying. I also want to clean up the wiring and just the general layout of the crossover. This upgrade isn't all that hard and just requires some basic tools and a soldering iron. The existing crossover has this small air core inductor in it, which we need to remove since we'll be using it in the crossover alongside this much larger iron core inductor. For the previous crossovers, I put the large inductor behind the tweeter, but that means it's hanging on the crossover board far away from the mounting screws. So I wanted to try and put it behind the woofer, closer to the crossover mounting points. But it prevented the woofer from fitting in its spot, so I'll have to figure out a different way to mount it. For now, I needed to remove the inductor from the old crossover, which requires a bit of soldering and the use of a heat gun and a razor knife to remove. This process was a pain on every speaker that I worked on, but it's worth it to save a few bucks on inductors. For the base of the crossover, I'm just using this 1/4-inch hardboard. I think this whole sheet of it cost me like $5, so it keeps the cost down and it's more than durable enough. I rounded off the corners and made the edges straight using a benchtop belt sander, which was nice and quick, super easy. I drilled 2 holes for the mounting screws and a 3rd hole to go around a post that sticks up on the inside back of the speaker, then used a paint pen to add a red dot for which side will be positive. With the schematic pulled up in the background, I started laying out components how I thought they would look best. Once I'd found a pattern I was pretty happy with, I started trimming the top off of one of the inductors to see if it would be possible to mount it behind the woofer if the plastic frame was smaller. It didn't fit, so I trimmed the bottom of the frame off, and it fit wonderfully. But before I could rearrange everything to accommodate for the change in inductor position, I needed to make sure that the new binding posts wouldn't interfere with the inductor, so I got to work removing them from their plastic housing. I used a heat gun to remove the glue on the bolt, then loosened the nut, and they came out pretty easily. But I wasn't done with that plastic piece just yet, because I had an idea to use it to make the connectors stick out from the back of the speaker more than my previous iterations. So I used the belt sander to make it the same size as the opening in the back of the speaker. Then I drilled holes for the binding posts and installed them through the plastic and hardboard. Off camera, I installed the large inductor and strapped it in place with a zip tie going through a hole that I drilled in the hardboard for it. But I needed to make sure that it actually would fit in the speaker, so I installed the whole board, and it took a bit of finagling, but everything fit how it should. Another update I wanted to make to this version of the crossover was to run the wires for each component through the hardboard. I would set a component where I wanted it, then drill a hole for each lead and slide them through the hole, then bend the leads over toward the next component. This would serve the dual purpose of looking better, but also removing the need for zip ties to hold the lighter components in place. since the leads are bent over and soldered on the back side of the board. After wrapping all of the leads with tweezers and soldering them in place around the other component leads and binding posts, I soldered in the wiring that would connect to the tweeter and the woofer. This wiring was also recycled from the original crossover, which saves some coin. Making a good-looking crossover is one of the most satisfying things, but what's even better is seeing my crossover design improve over 3 iterations. This is a photo of my first crossover version for these speakers, and this is what we're working with now. Shoo-wee! I couldn't help but stare at it for a minute, just proud of my work. But there was still work to do, so I still clean each solder joint with rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip to remove any corrosive materials that are left behind. I really want to show the listening test with a before and after, but first I needed to make sure that there are no air leaks around the binding posts, so I used some 1/2-inch thick weather stripping, cut to match the rim of the metal that the board will sit against. But this wasn't enough for a listening test, because drivers weren't installed yet, and neither was this handful of acoustic stuff. I packed it in tight behind the tweeter, then added some behind the woofer that was less dense. This should help extend the bass response. Even just watching these speakers get put back together makes me happy. Finishing a project is just such a good feeling.
I'll go ahead and play a song, and then I'm not going to tell you which one is which. You can decide.
Talking open wounds, heavy breathing and overeating has suddenly left me. Talking to myself after a bottle of wine is like inviting heavy spirit.
Do you know which one is which? VoiceOver Matt is here to explain things. If you guessed that pair A is the upgraded pair, you'd be correct. It's interesting because the highs are tamed so much on them that speakers B might have sounded better because they're louder sounding and more detailed sounding. But in person, those frequencies sound shrill and are very, very fatiguing at louder volumes or for longer listening sessions. The upgrade removes all fatigue. You can listen to them forever and they just sound pleasant.
All right, it feels good to have this project done. I've been working on these speakers for a couple of months now, and I'm pretty happy with where the crossovers have ended up. Still a couple things that I want to do. I want to make it a little easier to just drop the crossover in. That inductor on the bottom being pushed against the lower wall of the speaker at first seemed like a good idea, but it kind of makes getting the board in there a bit of a pain because you have to push the inductor against the wall and push the board down. So all of this to say, I actually think that these are great speakers, and I am really excited to get my pair hanging in here with a sub and see how they sound eventually. But for now, I have a couple other projects I need to work on. So if you want to subscribe to see those projects, see what other things we're working on, we got a Pioneer SX434. I'm going to be restoring some Nova 7Bs, which are just a larger realistic speaker from Radio Shack, as well as a bunch of other projects that I have. I'd love it if you subscribed and left a like on this video. That does help me out a lot.